Hello, is that Cody?
Speaking.
Cody, hi, it's John from Talk Radio. How you doing?
How you doing, John? You all right?
Yeah, very good. Sorry to push you back like this. We'll come to you straight after the break.
No worries. I'm listening in anyway on the app, mate. No problem.
Oh, fantastic. Come to you after the break then.
No worries.
Store, buddy. Savings on selected sofas ends soon. DFS.
I'm telling you, they're giving away free fivers. How's that work? Grab a copy of The Sun, enter 28 unique codes with Sun Savers and get a fiver back. Seriously? Yeah, seriously.
Excuse me, girls. I've been waiting here for ages. I need a room.
Sorry, sir. I didn't notice you there. And yes, a free fiver.
Oh.
Pick up The Sun and get free fivers with Sun Savers. Yes, really.
Bladder weakness is nothing to be embarrassed about. It affects 1 in 4 men aged 40 and over. It can stop you from attending live sports matches or taking part, which just isn't cricket. Tenamen is the protective absorbent solution which keeps urine leakage under control, leaving you to get on with doing all the things in life you like doing, without the fear of drips and dribbles. For helpful advice and a free no-obligation sample pack, visit tenor.co.uk/men today. Tenamen. Discreet protection. Keep control.
Talk Radio, traffic and travel.
In Cheshire, the M56 East Junctions 10 to 9, with 2 lanes closed and long delays due to a multi-vehicle accident. The back of the queue stretching towards Junction 11. M6 Warwickshire South, Junctions 3 to 2, the outside lane closed due to breakdown. And Worcestershire, the M5 South, Junctions 4A to 5, with the inside lane closed by a breakdown as well. In Nottinghamshire, the A1 Blythe Road southbound from the Blythe South Junction to the Randy turn-off. It's got the outside lane closed and delays because of an accident. I'm Stuart Ward.
Your time is now, and every second counts. Register with the Open University today, and you'll soon see the difference. Pick up that pay rise before picking up your degree. Get that promotion before getting to graduation. Be your future self sooner with our career-boosting courses. Visit openuniversity.co.uk before time runs out. Registration closes the 13th of September. The Open University. What's stopping you?
Man behind the James Whale Show on Talk Radio. We'll get you talking.
I don't know that it's very good for you to have one of those.
No, maybe not, no.
We're discussing muffin tops, and maybe we'll talk about that a little later on, and Ash seems to think they're acceptable, and I'm not sure.
Yeah. No,
I mean, he says it's always good for a man to have a little something out front. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. Right, let's talk about something serious now. And we've been talking about this on the programme for quite some considerable time. Now, everybody knows that our prison system is falling apart at the seams, and really, we don't have a prison system. We just have really a system of warehousing for people who've broken the law. We don't really seem to do much with them. We stick them away, and then when their allotted time is up, they go back out on the streets, and the vast majority of them commit crimes again, and if they're pretty useless, they get caught and they get banged up again.
Yeah.
Now, G4S is the company that has been running Birmingham Prison. I think they run other prisons as well. Birmingham Prison has been taken over by the government from the private firm G4S after inspectors said that it had fallen into a state of crisis. The Chief Inspector of Prisons, Peter Clark, described it as the worst prison he had ever been to. Inspectors found blood, vomit, rat droppings on the floor, sleeping staff, cockroaches, and an overpowering smell of drugs. Extra staff are being brought in and the jail's capacity cut by 300. Now, here's the thing. G4S said it welcomed the development as an opportunity to urgently address the problems because obviously G4S, who, by the way, are more than welcome to have their right of reply and come on this program anytime they want. But it seems to me that, first of all, if a company runs a prison and the inspectors of prison go in and they find blood, vomit, rat droppings on the floor, staff sleeping, cockroaches, and an overpowering smell of drugs, then wholeheartedly all those people should be sacked. I don't know what the name of the governor of Birmingham Prison is, but I'd love to talk to him. He should be on his bike. And to be quite honest, G4S, either they didn't know what they were doing, or they were so keen to get the contract, they said they do it for too little money. They should be fined, because it's you and me, the taxpayer, who are paying for the cock-up that is. And I don't really think that's fair, is it? Why should
there shouldn't be a private company who are looking at the bottom line profit and all that, running the prisons.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. But that's where we are, and the private company who have been running this, and I've just told you what the inspectors have found, they're a private company. It's the people who...
I think it's worse than that, though. I mean, rat droppings and vomit and stuff like that. Well, that's not... I think, there was a riot there.
It's not acceptable.
There was a riot there, and
it's not acceptable for G4S to say, we welcome the development, to address it. I want to know...
Of course they don't welcome it.
No, of course they don't. I want to know whether they're going to be allowed to have any other government contracts. Are G4S going to be allowed other government contracts? And I want to know whether G4S are going to have to pay through the nose for not being able to run the prison properly. It was their responsibility. Now, they should be apologizing profusely and not saying they welcome the development as a cocky PR way of trying to get out of this. The prison system in this country, and everybody has said, including the new prisons minister who says he will resign, Rory Stewart, who said he will resign if he doesn't improve things, and he will be held to that. Everybody knows the prison system in this country has become a farce, from drones delivering drugs to every other problem, and it is a fact that we have got to sort it out. Maybe we send too many people in this country to prison, too many people who could be punished in other ways, but then we have decimated the probation service. I know, because I know a probation officer who won't come on and talk to us.
It takes a lot to go to prison, though.
Who has told me a story. Well, yeah, but they send a lot of people to prison who are not a threat to the public, who could be punished in other ways.
Yeah.
Yet the probation service haven't got enough manpower to do anything about it.
Yeah.
I want to know, before we go any further, I want to know how G4S, for allowing this to happen, is going to be punished. Because if you ran any other business and you had to abide by rules and regulations, imagine if you run a restaurant and the food and health inspectors come in and they find this in the kitchen.
And stinks of drugs and everything in
you're going to be in real trouble. So I want to know what trouble G4S are in. In fact, I'd like to speak to their managing director. Can we find him? What is his name? Find out his name and see if you can find his number. Maybe we'll ring him at home and ask him. We'll be in trouble if we do, but somebody's got to sort this problem out.
It looks like it's going to have to be us.
Cody Lachey is an ex-prisoner and works in prison reform now, and we've spoken to Cody before he joined us. Cody, what do you think about this?
I'm as angry as you and Ash, to be honest with you, James. I mean, like I say, G4S going back to the 2012 Olympics, the fiasco there where the Army were drafted in. 2013, G4S on an industrial scale, there was tagging contract fraud. G4S failures and child abuse at Medway Training Centre, G4S immigration detainee abuse at Brook House at Gatwick Airport. The fact is, G4S are not fit to run a bath, James. And like I say, what you've got to think of is the safety of prisoners.
Hang on, just to make sure we're keeping everybody in, on the right side. We are inviting G4S to have their right of reply. And I feel that they should be allowed to come and give their side of this, don't you?
Yeah.
So we would love G4S to come on the program tomorrow. Let's not ring the boss on the air now and upset everybody. Let's make a formal invitation to them to appear and tell us what they're going to do, how they're going to sort it out, and I'd like to know what sort of punishments will be handed out to G4S for causing this problem, because surely you can't allow a prison to get into this state, and if you are a private company running it, there must be some kind of penalties forced on you, I would have thought.
Apparently, when Rory Stewart earlier today, when he's done lots of interviews, apparently this isn't going to come out of the taxpayer's pocket, and rightfully so. It's going to come out of the pocket of G4S. Apparently, whether that comes to fruition or not, I don't know. But the fact is, I mean, what you've got to remember as well is Rory Stewart the other day, they announced this £10 million for the 10 worst performing prisons, and Birmingham prison wasn't even in them bottom 10. So what does that say for the state of those prisons, James? And the fact is, like I say, it goes beyond the reoffending rates. Obviously, £15 billion a year it costs in reoffending rates. Simply put, prisons doesn't work. And rather than making prisoners out of our students, we should be making students out of our prisoners, right? And like I say, prisoners, we need to treat them. I know it's going to sound silly and people are going to say, oh, you're going soft as a former prisoner, but I think you need to nurture prisoners whilst they're in prison. Give them a sense that they have a stake and they can do it another way, because prison only succeeds in living in those conditions, in rat, squalid, infested conditions that are reminiscent of Dickensian England, doesn't aid rehabilitation in any which way. If anything, it creates monsters. The prisoners within HMP Birmingham and other prisons around the country, the prisoners are feral, and they're becoming feral. And with fewer police on the streets upon release, and the fact that prison doesn't work, they go back to crime. And with fewer police on the streets, they're more likely to get away
Answer me this question, Cody. Answer me this question. What in this situation, there is a governor of all prisons. What the hell is the governor doing? And why, if your prison is in this state, surely the governor knows how it is when the inspectors come round and say this. Is this man or woman, I don't know who the governor of Birmingham prison is, but should the governor not be held responsible for this?
Absolutely. I mean, according to the guy you're referring to, the director of Birmingham Prison, was a guy called Rob Collette. I don't think he's in post anymore, because I think the MOJ are bringing in Her Majesty's Prison Service and like a senior management structure into that prison. The fact is, you've got to think though, James, with private prisons, what is the end goal? Financial gain. And it's all about profit margins, James, and that comes at the cost of security of prison officers and prisoners. And obviously in that, when you're decimating like prison officer numbers and you're losing experienced officers and bringing in young lads or women that are wet behind the ears, that haven't lived, have got no life experience, you're putting them on wings with highly volatile, very manipulative, very controlling prisoners. And in that sort of situation, prisoners are prospering. And like I say, the drug market's fueled within prison, and the drug market within prison is absolute. Like I say, people get recalled on purpose with drugs on their person so they can sell it for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times that, depending on supply and demand.
Hang on a moment. We've just got in touch with G4S, and they are apparently not giving interviews at the moment. But
that
they
tells
are
you
going
everything you need to know, James.
Well, hang on. They are emailing me a statement, and when we get the statement, I will read it out and share it with you.
I mean, absolutely. I
agree
with you and Ash. They do have a right to reply, absolutely, because you've got to get both sides of the coin. But the fact is, Her Majesty's Inspector of Prison reports are independent. So are the Independent Monitoring Board. And the fact is, former prison officers, former prisoners, everyone's coming out of the woodwork just to say, and it's not just HMP Birmingham, it's prisons up and down this country. And like I say, for those on the right side of the tracks that want prison to be punitive and punish prisoners and brutalise them, all that succeeds in doing, it doesn't rehabilitate that individual. All it does, it desensitizes you, dehumanizes, demoralizes you, and makes you more disenfranchised than when you enter the system.
All right. Hold on. Well, it's changed my mind. Talking to you and people like you, Cody, Ash and I used to have a little thing. We used to whip prisoners. And as a bit of a sarcastic, not really, sound effects, yeah. And then prisoners used to write to us and suggest mates they were banged up with that they would like to have a mention for and get them whipped. So, and I used to think, well, listen, we could sort out the whole prison system if we put 15 in a cell, gave them a hole in the floor to do their business in, and fed them on bread and water, and they would never want to go back again. But that was 20-odd years ago. I've come to the conclusion that if you brutalize people like that, then they just become very anti-society, and as you quite rightly say, Cody, they become feral. And that doesn't actually solve the problem. You might as well just...
But what is the solution? Because there's no money. I mean, 10 million's nothing, isn't it?
No, I agree. Now, I've just got this statement from G4S, so let me share it with everybody. Jerry Petherick, who is the Managing Director of G4S Custody and Detention Services, nice title, has said, this is him talking, HMP Birmingham is an inner-city remand prison which faces exceptional challenges, including increasingly high levels of prisoner violence towards staff and fellow prisoners. The well-being and safety of prisoners and prison staff is our key priority, and we welcome the 6-month step-in and the opportunity to work with the Ministry of Justice to urgently address the issues faced at the prison. What's your response to that, Cody?
To be honest, James, this is a generic thing they've been throwing out all day. I knew about this. This was an embargoed story that came out late last night. I was aware of it earlier than that through media contacts. The fact is, right, they're going on about we welcome this step in from the MOJ. Well, you don't, because it's going to hit the company in the pocket, right? And the fact is, James, right, say it's run by Her Majesty's Prison Service, who are, like I say, whether it be public sector, private sector, the problems are across the board in both. They're both performing as well, or should I say as badly as each other. Now, the fact so say HMP come in, Her Majesty's Prison Service, they bring Birmingham up to scratch or to an adequate level, right? Yeah. Then they hand it back to G4S, and it's all about financial gain again. Private prisons, or as I call them, prisons for profit, the start goal and the end goal is not a rehabilitation, it's financial gain. And it comes across the prison officers, conditions, food quality, safety.
If I had the prison minister on, and let's see if we can't talk to Rory Stewart tomorrow. If I had the prison minister on, I'm sure he would tell you that, you know, what they wanted is to get a prison service which would help rehabilitate prisoners. But running a prison takes a certain amount of money. Now, prisons have never been really well run in this country because a lot of people think, and I'm one of them who used to think, well, people break the law, they deserve everything they get, and to a certain extent, yeah, I think they do. But we have to make sure that prisons are not left to be run by the prisoners, which is what seems to have happened. And I can't understand how, if the Chief Inspector of Prisons, Peter Clark, went into this prison and found blood, vomit, rat droppings, staff sleeping, cockroaches, and an overpowering smell of drugs. If the prison inspector knew this, what the hell were the people who were working there doing? Oh, sleeping. Well, somebody somewhere, rather than have these glib statements going out, should be apologising and should be saying sorry and should be saying, I'm sorry, we couldn't run the prisons with that budget. It takes more money. And then
apparently they were locking themselves in a cell, the staff, to keep themselves away from the prisoners.
And nobody thought to actually get in touch with the government or the politicians and say, we can't handle this. I'm sorry, we just can't handle it on the money we're getting for it. It's not working. This is just balmy. What sort of society are we living in?
And like I say, James, you're right. The prison system is under-resourced and it's underfunded massively. And then you're seeing an increase in prison numbers. Prison cells that should be holding one prisoner are holding two. And like I say, they've now shipped out 300 prisoners out of Birmingham prison to ease overcrowding. Do you know what the thing is for me? The government, with reoffending costing £15 billion a year, the Ministry of Justice should have a blank cheque. And like I say, with this £10 million that they
can't have a blank cheque, Cody.
I know in an ideal world, I know, but cut your cloth accordingly. But the fact is, all the academic qualifications in the real world, right? They're not as good as first-hand experience. Now, me and a lot of other former prisoners and former IMB members, Independent Monitoring Board members, we've all got ideas that could save the Ministry of Justice money, decrease prison numbers, save lives. They need more officers. And the fact is, but we're seen, I feel like we're seen as the enemy, but yet it frustrates me and I feel like I'm banging my head against the wall. I might not have the academic qualifications, James, but I've lived and breathed and slept jail, right? So I know my prison, more probably so than Rory Stewart. He's the prison's minister. He's saying all the right sorts of things, but the £10 million is invested into the prisons, £6 million on security, £3 million is on repairs, and £1 million on training. Invest in the prisoners. The prisons, for me, should be doubling up as colleges.
That money, 10 million is nothing. It's a ridiculous idea. Cody, for the moment, thank you very much indeed, and we will come back to you and talk again, but I do very much want to talk to G4S about this. Hi, Cody.
No worries, mate. Sorry for me rants, mate. I'm just fuming with it all.
No,
I like James
brilliant.
Anyway. I like his approach anyway. He used to give me the first time we ever did an interview, he gave me such a rough ride. And then after that, we sort of got on the same page in some regards, and obviously. But he's a good guy, and I'm glad he's back on the programme as well, because he's bloody good at what he does. So thank you for your is it John or James who am I speaking to?
It's James, yeah.
James, pleasure for that, mate. Anyway, speak to you soon.
Thank you very much. Have a lovely evening.
And you,
Thank
mate.
you so
Take
much.
care. Bye. Bye.